39 days to election 2020. Hello and welcome to Newsnight. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. NDC National Vice Chairman still a subject of criminal probe for allegedly supplying guns to an NDC constituency executive to intimidate MPP voters in the northern region. But why did the police drop criminal charges after hauling Said Sinari before a court today?
Alhaji is not in possession of any of those arms. It was somebody who brought them to the police. There were two guns that were shown to Alhaji. There was an AK-47 and then a pump-action gun. Alhaji had already reported of the loss of his pump-action gun, but Alhaji has no knowledge of the AK-47.
Meanwhile, the NDC has suspended its constituency chairman for Ayawaso North constituency, who allegedly reported the national vice chairman to the police. Also tonight, the MPP Member of Parliament for Fomina, expelled from the party for filing to contest as an independent candidate, has finally been speaking about his controversial decision. He is standing his ground, insisting he remains a member of the majority side in Parliament.
Today you see me, I'm in Parliament. I'm just walking out from the chamber. I am still part of Parliament. No letter or documentation has been given to me to that effect.
More from him. We'll also get the latest from the party as they seek to get his seat declared vacant. Tonight, Education Watch Africa backs calls by Charles for a review of the free SHS policy to make space for the contribution of parents in the development and administration of schools.
We need to create a space for PTAs to contribute to education development. That would not in any way suggest that the free senior high school is not as free as it's supposed to be.
And in business, Finance Minister Kenneth Ofori charges real estate developers to source inputs locally to help reduce cost.
We also have the latest from the world of sports for you, plus your views here on Newsnight. Send me a WhatsApp 05511119997. My name is Evans Mensah. Well, he had been accused by one of his own closest political party associates of supplying guns to intimidate MPP voters in the northern region on election day. Today, the NDC National Vice Chairperson, Alhaji Sinari, was interrogated for hours at the Accra Regional Police Headquarters, arrested and then charged with conspiracy to commit crime to wit possession of firearms without authority. In fact, police prosecutors drove him to the Kaneshie District Court, determined to begin what would have been a swift prosecution of the NDC bigwig. Well, drama unfolded when shortly after the case had been called, the police prosecutor announced the state was no longer pursuing the matter and was dropping the charges. We are, however, learning tonight that the police are still pursuing a criminal probe against Mr. Sinari and has granted him a police inquiry bail. We're also learning tonight that Alhaji Sinari had allegedly been reported to the police by another executive of the NDC, the constituency chairman of Ayawaso North constituency, Tahiru Ahmed, who has now been suspended from the party with immediate effect. More on this shortly, but first listen to a member of Mr. Sinari's legal team, Abraham Amaliba.
As you know, the facts are very clear. Alhaji is not in possession of any of those arms. It was somebody who brought them to the police, and so it would be absurd to parade Alhaji before the court and charge him for possession, when indeed there were no guns before him. However, there were two guns that were shown to Alhaji. There was an AK-47 and then a pump-action gun. Alhaji had already reported of the loss of his pump-action gun. He reported that to the Cantonment police station. That gun is licensed. The pump-action gun is licensed. But Alhaji has no knowledge of the AK-47. So that was why he said in his statement that pump action gun belongs to him. He has licensed it. He has renewed the license. But the AK-47, the police need to find out from the other guy how he got it.
But this person is saying that the national vice chairman of the NDC gave it to him to use it to foment trouble. Has he been saying anything to the specific allegation that he was the one who handed over that gun to him?
Well, in the interrogation, he has not said that.
My colleague Kweku Asante has been following this story and joins me in the studio. So what happened at the police regional HQ?
Well, Evans, it was drama all throughout. So
as around 8 a.m., Alhaji Said Sinari himself reported to the police and was taken through interrogations. At the time he was there with Abraham Amaliba. And so the interrogation took some time. For over 2 hours, they were still locked up in the interrogation at the Accra Police headquarters. And then Baba Jamal joined. And so when the investigations was going on and this interrogation was going on, these lawyers came out. And at the time, the ND supporters and other people who were around actually thought this was a done deal and that this issue was just going to end there. But then that was when the police gave the information that they were willing to, prosecute the matter to its logical conclusion and that they were sending the matter to court. And then that was when Baba Jamal and then Amaliba started speaking and were like, you are trying to charge a person with an offense which says that unlawful possession of firearms when you did not find the firearms on Alhaji Said Sinari. And so you cannot do that. But the back and forth went on for a while, but the police still insisted that they were going to send Alhaji Said Sinari to the court. And so at the time, the ND supporters who had massed up in front of the Accra Regional Headquarters, including family members, started shouting, and some of them actually spoke to Joy News and actually explained themselves and said they were there because they felt that their vice chairman was being set up.
Small matter, police can make it big. Big matter, police can make it small. Are you getting me? Our chairman will hold him in high esteem. The police said he should come for interrogation. That's why we are here. We are here behind him.
A vice chairman. And where things are going on as a political arena, we thought that the thing is a plantain against our chairman. You were working with Alhaji Sinari since 8 years now. Why today? We don't understand. And we can never sit down and drink and eat in our home and our chairman alone will come here. We were in Ghana here when a sitting MP minister shoot gun on air. That's why we all hear it. We saw it. We didn't see anything. What happened? What happened?
Well, he was then driven to by the police to the Kaneshie District Court, facing some pretty serious criminal charges.
And 3 police vehicles with fully armed men, 1 in front and 2 behind him, were the police convoy that sent him to the Kaneshie District Court. And so once the case was sent to the Kaneshie District Court, there was actually a case ongoing at the court already. The case was truncated midway for this case to be heard. And so the judge comes in, calls the prosecution and says, you brought a case, and then the charges are read out and all these things. And then they asked Mr. Kojoga Dawood, who had then joined the legal team of Alhaji Said Sinari, if he had anything to say. And he said he wanted to hold on until the prosecution had set out the details of their issues. And that was when Sergeant Thomas Safo of the police, Accra Police Headquarters, was called to actually prosecute his cases. And then there was drama in the court when he said that there had been some new development. Those specific new developments he does not explain to the court, but he says because of these new developments, the police was not interested in prosecuting the case again, and then the judge had no other option to that but to as it were discharge the accused persons. And like Evans, you've said earlier, the accused persons, as Alhaji Said Sinari, and then the chairman of the Ayawaso North NDC was actually part of those who had been charged with those 2 charges. And so Amaliba comes now and then says that now their client is free to go and that he's going home to his family.
The charges that were brought to court were not well founded, and so I'm sure the prosecution saw that there were some gaps in the charges, and that's why they reduced. So we want to thank the court for accepting the submission of the prosecution, and I can tell you that Alhaji Sinari is now a free man. No, there's no camp in this matter. We are not having 2 different camps. What is important is that Alhaji Sinari has gotten his freedom back. His liberties have been restored. Alhaji Sinari is now going to walk home free man, and that is what is important.
Okay, so that then went on. We now know that apparently the individual, that's the Ayawaso North Constituency chairman of the NDC, also being charged with the same offences, but the charges were dropped both for him,
for him
and for Mr. Sinari. But we also know now that the police have now, both gentlemen are now on a police inquiry bill. The police are still pursuing the case against them in terms of the investigations. We also learning a bit more because Mr. Sinari had written to the NDC, right, with some additional details about this individual, this I also not constituency chairman Tahiru Ahmed, in which he tells the party that Mr. Tahiru actually being a permanent employee for the past 8 years until last month when his appointment was terminated. Yeah. And he says, as I had enough suspicion that he is a mole for the ruling party, right? And then he brings in the case of the gun. Yeah.
So according to Alhaji Said Sinari, the NDC chairman for Ayawaso North has actually, and let me read from the statement. It says, according to this accusation filed with the police and the AK-47 gun produced, I gave him those guns to be used in the northern region during the national elections on the 7th December 2020 to intimidate NPP voters. So here, Alhaji Said Sinari actually recounts the allegation to the party and says that the singular action initiated at this time confirms my suspicion that he was working against the party's interest and intend to bring myself and the party's name into disrepute. It is my prayer that the disciplinary procedures are immediately initiated against him and excluded from party strategy.
Okay, and we know tonight that the party has issued a statement announcing that he's been suspended with immediate effect from the party. I want to bring in Abraham Amaliba, is a member of the Mr. Sinari legal team. Mr. Amaliba, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. So the charges were dropped, but he's still on a police inquiry bail. Do we know why?
So let me say good evening, your listeners. They are right. They have withdrawn the charges. Alhaji Sinari has been discharged, but we still went back to the regional police headquarters for bail. What that means is that the police would have to conduct further investigations to ascertain the veracity of the claims of Ahmed Tahiru. In the meantime, we've been asked to report back on Monday, 2 p.m. So that is the latest development.
So from your indication, the police are still investigating with this suspicion that he had, conspired to and in possession of firearms without lawful authority?
I would not know whether they will want to still investigate those same charges. Like your reporter indicated, we had made it clear to the crime officer that possession of firearms to be slapped on Alhaji Sinari will not hold water, because actually the police didn't find any arms in his possession. And so probably they will want to look at other things that they think could rope in Alhaji Sinari. But I am sure that the charge of possession would fall like a pack of cards.
You say that he owned a pump action gun which is licensed. Has the police taken possession of that gun yet? Has it surrendered it to the police?
Yes, so that gun is still with the police. He identified that gun, and don't forget, like the reporter indicated, he had already reported the loss of that gun some 3 weeks ago to the Cantonment Police Station. And so when that gun was shown to him, he readily accepted and said that was the gun. It is licensed. I requested for the gun to be returned to him, and I think the CID crime officer indicated that we would have to come with a license so that we could authenticate the gun. So on Monday, when we return, we would actually go back there with the license to the pump action gun.
Do you have any idea why the police dropped the charges when they had looked very determined all day to prosecute him?
There were two drops. The first one was, and as you rightly indicated in your opening remarks, that it was a day of drama. The first one had to do with the fact that the complainant, that's the Tahiru man himself, was also charged. So you go to the police as a complainant, then you end up becoming an accused person. So that was the first drama. The second one was when, against all advice from the legal team of Alhaji Sinari, not to proceed to court because investigation has not yet concluded, and the charge of possession of firearms was not the appropriate charge at this point. They still went to court. And so it came to us as, not a surprise, but it came to us as a strange matter when the prosecution rose and told the court that they were no longer interested in pursuing the matter and that there were new developments. Which developments the prosecutor did not tell the court, which developments the judge also did not find out from the prosecutor. And so for us, we were not interested in the new developments. All that we wanted was to have our clients given bail.
Mr. Malaba, I'm grateful that you joined us with that clarity. Theophilus Etachai is the regional secretary of the NDC. He's issued a statement tonight announcing that the Ayawaso North constituency chairman who reported this case allegedly to the police has now been suspended with immediate effect. Mr. Chai, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. Hello, Mr. Chai. Hello, sir. Okay, we don't seem to have him on the telephone line right now. We'll try and get some clarity from him why exactly he was suspended. Is it because of the fact that he made the filed the police report with the police? Is that why he's being suspended? I want to stay with us as we get some clarity on that. Still listening to Newsnight. It's Enjoy 99.7 FM. And this is your election headquarters, and I'm not leaving Parliament. That's the declaration by the Member of Parliament for Fomena, Andrew Amako Esiama, despite the request by the New Patriotic Party to the Speaker for him to be kicked out. MPP General Secretary John Bodu says the party has asked the Speaker to declare the seat vacant after the MP was sacked over his decision to run as an independent candidate. Now, Mr. Siama tells Joy News no official communication on his removal from Parliament has come to his notice, and he remains a member of the majority side. This is the first time he's speaking since this controversy erupted. He's been talking to my parliamentary correspondent, Joseph Pokugapo.
Well, they are saying they have dismissed me, but I am telling you I'm winning for the party. You see, you people, you media men, I've had a lot of discussion about this particular issue. Please, let me have a bit of my peace. Let me say one thing. Let me say one thing. What I can assure you is that I will be part of the 8th Parliament. That is what is important.
They've asked that from the 7th Parliament, you'll be taken out by virtue of the fact that the
today you see me. Yes, you see me. I'm in Parliament. I'm just walking out from the chamber. I'm part of.
But what do you make of the demand they're asking that the Speaker gets you out of the 7th Parliament?
Please. What I'm saying, I've had a lot of discussion. I don't want to jump into that angle. I am still part of Parliament.
Do you think they have a legal basis?
I'm not going to discuss that because no letter or documentation has been given to me to that effect. So I don't need to discuss anything, probably speculatively. So once we didn't get there, we need to.
That's right. And you are staying in the 7th Parliament. So
of course.
Expires on the seat of General.
I'm just in the chamber, so I don't need to even discuss this issue.
How does this look like on the ground? Does it look like you are getting a lot of support? Because then the claim is that the party supported you, which is how come you won the seats on the different occasions.
So if the party supported me, fine. This time around, the entire constituents are supporting me. So I'm coming back to Parliament. Just watch my list. I will be part of the 8th Parliament.
What's your projection? By how percentage are you likely to
win? I'm winning. At least expect about 70% of the popular vote.
Well, Member of Parliament for Mena the Andrew Mwako Isiama in that interview with my colleague Joseph Okugapo. Now, Joseph joins me in the studio with more on this. Has the leadership of Parliament and by extension the Speaker, have they come to a decision yet on what to do with him? The Speaker announced some time back that they are considering.
We are told that they are still in that stage of a conversation around what the way forward should be and a conversation around what specific decisions should be taken. We know that the House is expected to go on break latest by the end of next week, and it's expected that firm decision will be taken by then. But the details that we're gathering is that it's still at the desk of the Speaker, and even at the level of leadership, that broad conversation on what the way forward should be hasn't started yet. It's still at the Speaker's desk.
Okay, of course, and he's very categorical that he remains majority side, but he's also confident that he's going to come back to Parliament. If he did win, he will win as an independent candidate. Thank you very much, Joseph. Well, a group within the governing MPP unhappy with the Formina MP's posture says it will marshal law its forces to ensure he loses the seat come December 7. The aspirants unite for victory. That's the name of that group. Aspirants Unite for Victory. It's made up of all aspirants who lost their seats in the MPP primaries. They've come together to promote peace and unity going into the 2020 elections. Of course, we've just been joined by one of them. He's a sitting member of Parliament. Kennedy Kwesi can come. He's in the studio with me. He's a convener for the group. Thank you very much for your time here.
Thank you.
On Newsnight. So you just had one of your colleagues in Parliament. He has chosen a different approach to this. You decide to stay and still be loyal to the party. He says, well, he wants to go independent. Have you had a conversation, your group, have you interacted with him at all?
Yes, some of us have been talking to him on the sideline to see how best we can talk to him to rescind the decision to contest as an independent candidate in the elections ahead of us. We are trying all possible means to make sure those, it's not him alone, the other members of the New Patriotic Party who are also contesting as independent candidates will send their decision before the general election on the 7th of December 2020.
When you speak to him, does he give an indication that he is willing to? Because from the interview he gave us, he still stands by his decision.
Well, it's not easy for you to know that because the decision that he has taken, I think he has thought over it for so many years or so many months before he arrived at that where he is. So it won't be easy for you to know by maybe facial expression or by maybe through just a normal conversation to know whether he's going to step down or not.
Yeah, but I mean, he said it clearly.
We keep on pleading with him.
No, he said it clearly to us right now that he won't. But tell me what. So now you know his decision. You formed a different group. What is your approach to the campaign?
Well, Aspirants Unite for Victory is made up of about 220 aspirants who were not successful in the just ended parliamentary primary that took place on the 20th of June 2020. The main aim of the party is that we are trying as much as possible to talk to ourselves, encourage ourselves, and also to prevent members who contested and were not successful from contesting as independent candidates. If you look at the scope that you are using to operate, one can say without fear or favor that about 99.9% of the aim that we set before we put the group together has been achieved.
So you're okay that the fact that you're not going back to Parliament on the tickets of your party. In fact, you've expired as a member of Parliament because you lost the primaries.
But somebody was sitting at where I am now, and the person expired some time ago. So if it is my term to also expire, I don't have problem with that. The fact of the matter is that we have a lot in the party for you to go about, and you have a lot of position in the government that some of the members can also occupy in the near future. So if your constituents don't want you to be a member of Parliament, there might be another way or another portfolio that can be available to you in the near future.
Okay, so that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping that you remain loyal to the party now. Yes, you're not going to get to go back to Parliament, but if Nanado wins again, at least you are hoping that your loyalty will be repaid.
Of course, every politician look forward to the day that his loyalty will be repaid. So it is not news for some of us to even think of that.
So, but that is the primary motivation.
That is the primary motive. We want the primary motive behind what you are doing is the unity in the party. We want the party to stay together because looking at into the history of this country, since the inception of the 1992 Constitution, most of the government in power that loses elections lose the election not because of the government not doing performing so bad. But most of it is due to the apathetic voters that found themselves in the political party. The apathetic voters are not coming from anywhere. It is maybe some of us, or some of them who were in our situation, who contested and were not successful. That and their followers normally cause those apathy in the various political parties. You can go through the history during the former president, when former President Rawlings was exiting in 1996 after his term in 2000. I think he made a pseudo declaration. And after that, I think the aftermath was not well managed. It cost the NDC the elections. And in 2007, the 22nd December to be precise, when MPP 17 gurus of the party contested for the flag bearership, and aftermath was not well managed, it cost the party.
So you're drawing from those lessons. Very finally, for the Fomena MP, I'm told that part of your work is campaigning his constituency.
Of course, there's no
against him.
The fact of the matter is that we are campaigning for the New Patriotic Party, no matter where we find ourselves. We have marginal seat, we have swing seat, we have seat that are being
so you're working to ensure that he loses as an independent candidate.
Not him alone. We are working to make
sure. But he's a member of your party.
We are working to make sure that MPP wins a lot of seats. Our target is about 175 to 186 in Parliament. So we are working to make sure that MPP wins majority of seats in Parliament.
If he wins and is in Parliament, would you advise the party to work with him?
That will be in the decision of the top hierarchy. I cannot sit here alone and talk about it.
Okay, I'm grateful that you joined us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity as well.
He's a member of Parliament for in Shire constituency. I'm grateful that you joined us with your thoughts.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So listen to Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, tonight, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools, they've stirred controversy, asking for a review of the free senior high school program, and they are getting backing from think tanks, including the education think tank Education Watch Africa. They want the program, the flagship policy of the incumbent party, the MPP, reviewed to allow the contribution of parents in the development and administration of schools. According to President of CHAS, Yakub Abubakar, the policy started 3 years ago has led to the collapse of PTAs in schools across the country, accounting for many abandoned projects at the various levels, as well as support for schools. He was speaking at the 5th Annual Conference of CHAS at Wesley Girls in Cape Coast.
Our observation over the period is that PTA activities are gradually dying in our schools. Hitherto, the PTA were playing very significant roles in our schools. Nana Chairman, if a policy is in place and for the past 3 years it is not working, then it needs to be re-looked at. No wonder you go to many schools and you will see PTA abandoned projects at various levels. At present, even though there are delays in the release of funds, schools do not have the leverage like PTA to assist them, and so making the effective administration of schools problematic. After 3 years of the implementation of the free senior high school, CHAS is calling for a review of the policy.
Thankfully, we can now speak to the president of CHAS, Yakub Abubakar, who joins us on the telephone line right now. Mr. Abubakar, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. You talk about abandoned projects in some of the schools, but from what we understand, government through GET Fund is still constructing and completing many of these projects.
Thank you very much for having me. It's in fact on the ground. When you go to our school, you will see several of health projects abandoned. This is because even the very projects that the government is carrying out for itself, they are at various stages of completion. Talk less of those that belong to PTA. Usually, when they visit our schools and we point at PTA buildings to them, they tell us no, they want to start something new and not PTA projects. So we have them all over the school.
But is this primarily because the PTAs aren't functioning anymore? Because it appears that's the primary reason you point to.
Very well. That is just it. Because the procedure by which they want the PTA to function is not working. Currently, it is advised that PTA by themselves should organize, see the way by which they can raise funds by themselves and come and assist the schools. And for all intents and purposes, that approach is not working. So you go to several schools, it is almost non-existent now. So we are telling authorities that there is the need for the policy to be re-looked at. If indeed we want the PTA to play the vital role they are supposed to play at the senior high school level.
I wonder, Mr. Abubakar, how exactly has the free SHS policy stopped the effective functioning of PTAs? I mean, because I don't recall...
For now, as I told you, PTAs are required to organize themselves. In any way they can organize themselves, when they contact the school and the school identifies an area that they think they need their assistance, then by their own, they will do whatsoever arrangement, raise their funds, and then come, Mr. Headmaster, this was your request, this is money, or show us the place and we'll go and do it for you. And we are telling authorities that this approach is not working in any way in our schools.
Yeah, but if it's not working, isn't it that's a problem of the PTAs themselves? I mean, because they haven't been stopped from helping the schools. They simply can organize themselves and help where they seem fit.
Well, that is what we are saying, that if a new policy has been brought, which is affecting negatively the activities of PTAs in the schools, then there was the need for all concerned to come back again at the table and look at it and see what can be done to improve upon the current situation.
But isn't it also possible because the PTAs now see that the government has taken over, and so they've simply stopped being as committed to what they used to do than before, because government has stepped in and is footing the bill?
That could be a reason, maybe.
But shouldn't you then, if that's the case, shouldn't you rather be engaging the PTAs more rather than asking government to review the policy?
We are engaging the PTAs and making them aware that we still have challenges at our school level. After all, government alone cannot solve all the problems of the schools. But you engage them to a level because the commitment is somehow not there as before.
And I wonder, has Charles formally submitted a position on this to government formally?
We have discussed it with our management at several levels, and each time the discussion took place, we were told that yes, this time PTA activities will not be tied to students in the school, and we say yes, that is it. Because we don't want a child to suffer as a result of the parents' non-participation in PTA activities in the school. But all the same, there was the need for us to look at it and see how can we address it to get the PTA to be committed to the cause of the school.
I'm grateful. So you're hoping government would do something. You say you've engaged. Would you follow up with, say, a written petition directly to the government?
We are issuing a communique after our conference, and we hope the contents of the communique will be looked at by all stakeholders so that we are able to together find solutions to the issues raised.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That is the president, the national president of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools. I want to quickly bring in now Mr. Kofi Asare. He's executive director of the Education Watch. Mr. Asare, are these concerns legitimate?
Well, to the extent that it is established in research that there is a correlation between parental involvement and investment in education and their level of interest. So you find that where parents contribute directly financially to the education of their children, they are more interested in their development than when everything is free. Don't forget that the PTA is an amalgam of parents. And so when you have a situation where in our bid to provide free education, without any financial barriers to all students, parents have, been lacking in the sense that from food to uniforms to books, everything is provided by the state. So the possibility of parents, being lax and developing some inertia towards the education development of these schools, it's actually a possibility and something we have experienced not only in the secondary education sector, but also in the 15 years of our free education, not only in Ghana.
And I guess the question then is, if that is the case, does that justify a review of the free SHS policy?
Well, reviewing it, I think what Charles is actually trying to say is that the limitation or the aspect of the policy that prevents PTAs from making mandatory contribution to school development will have to be looked at. That is more or less the medium through which PTA supports education development. And so the free high school imposing a restriction on headmasters from charging what we call PTA dues. And Charles is looking at reform in that area so that we create a space for PTAs, especially those who contribute, to keep contributing. I think it's a good idea to create a space for immobilized rental investment in education directly, especially for the parents that can do. But then we have to be sure that in doing so, we are equitable in managing such investment, such that poor parents shouldn't see it as, or it shouldn't appear as an obligation on poor parents who are not genuinely in the capacity to afford. Yeah. But for those who have the capacity to support, we should free that angle of the policy so that they can conveniently support education.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that had been mentioned before. I'm grateful that you joined us, Mr. Kofi Asare. What do you make of this? Send me a WhatsApp, 055 1111997. I'll share your thoughts with you after business. Still ahead, President Akufo-Addo indicates government's willingness to return Ghanaians compulsorily taking over by the state.
Let me also indicate to you my commitment to take a comprehensive look at the issue to do with the compulsory acquisition of lands by government and the possible restoration of land to their allodial owners.
Details as he tasked a committee to look into the demand. Also tonight, former President Mahama takes a swipe at President Akufo-Addo and his vice, Dr. Bawumia, as he questions their credibility and accuses them of failing to deliver on their 2016 campaign promises.
One name credibility, and Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia name credibility. Promises are more in the yes, to see castle and come and you come and talk about credibility.
More from the campaign trail after business. Hello, George.
Hi, Evans. And coming up in business, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta charges real estate companies to source inputs locally to help reduce cost. And World Bank rules out Ghana falling back into the highly indebted poor country status because of their current classification. They cannot fall back into that state. Of getting you more details on that one. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials and fares. A National Bank. We are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank. How can we help you?
Charlie, make I see if Kofi go fit send me some momo. Make I take hold myself small. Simple you.
If you like the caller tune you're about to listen to, press *1 to copy now.
Oh, I just
Let your caller tune do the talking. Express yourself with your caller tune and win big with MTN. Simply dial *1355# or download your favorite caller tune or copy or renew your already existing caller tune and stand a chance of winning up to 1,000 cedis weekly, 4,000 cedis monthly, and the grand prize of 15,000 Ghana cedis and the MTN caller tunes promo. Send stars to 1355 or dial *1355# to subscribe today. We're good together. We dare for you everywhere you go.
Many people have lost their jobs since 2017. The next NDC government, led by John Mahama and Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, will work hard to provide jobs for all. Here is our plan. Under our Ejumapa policy, we will create a minimum of 250,000 decent and sustainable jobs every year. That's a minimum of 1 million permanent and well-paying jobs. Jumapa, in 4 years in the financial services sector, such as banking and insurance, construction, agriculture and agribusiness, ICT, oil and gas, pharmaceuticals, tourism, tree crops, waste management and sanitation, and coastal landscape and forest management, among others. Those who also want to learn a craft will be enrolled under the NDC's state-sponsored National Apprenticeship Program. We will also give them the tools kit needed to start their businesses upon completion of their apprenticeship. NAPCO beneficiaries will also be made permanent public sector workers. This is our plan for jobs. Vote John Mahama. Vote NDC.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Committee 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
My buddy, why you for just the watch when you can be wild proper? When you for scream, shout, she and kata, put your body, get down, fire your body, catch views, drop the mic. Ghana, the time catch where we for change the way we watch. Welcome to Showmatch and to Chow Online Entertainment from movies and series to sports like EPL and La Liga. Feel from Super Sport and more. You feel enjoy them on any device, anytime. Visit showmatch.com today. Let's slack it.
2020, yes,
fellow Ghanaians, through planting for food and jobs, food is available and prices are relatively cheaper for us all. Farmers can dream of a better future for themselves and their families. This December, remember your vote will make a difference in the life of a farmer and make food affordable for you and us all. Let's protect our progress. Vote NPP. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo for 4 more years to do more for you.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has maintained that the time has come for real estate companies to explore sourcing most of their inputs locally. The minister believes that this is one of the surest ways to deal with the cost issues and high taxes on imports that are being complained by most players. The Finance Minister has been speaking more on this issue to Joy Business.
Input to houses. It ends up somewhere close to 50% of the cost of houses, and also the infrastructure being anywhere from 10 to 30%. And so our challenge really is how we as government support the infrastructure and to reduce that. And then secondly, the industry itself gets creative about the inputs so that the inputs are manufactured locally. I think that's where we are at. If we're able to break that, I think that will both save taxes and also accelerate the delivery of houses. So we need to put our minds into research and development so that most of the inputs are done locally, and then you will not require this tax exemption.
That is Finance Minister Ken Ofreta. Now, there'll be more discussions tonight on PM Express as you look at dealing with the country's housing needs, and actually you're engaging the Director of Financial Sector Division at the Ministry of Finance, Samson Akliko, the Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, and also the Managing Director of Republic Bank, Farid. And as you look at whether you build, buy or rent, what is the best way, an option for you out there if you are an individual or a young entrepreneur. Now, the World Bank is ruling out Ghana falling into the highly indebted poor country initiative because of its current status. According to a statement from the World Bank, Ghana is currently classified as a low middle income country and cannot be put on the list of HIPC even for it to benefit from any debt cancellation. Now, this is coming after when the IMF also issued a similar statement rejecting reports that the country is now HIPC. An Association of Ghana Industries said it is hopeful of securing the National Board for Small-Scale Industry stimulus package for some of its medium-sized enterprises. Now, this is coming after some of its members have complained of delays in actually securing the benefit or securing the support from the National Board for Small-Scale Industry. Let's hear from Sir Chimo Kobwa, his Chief Executive of the association.
And as I speak now, I know that quite a number of enterprises have gotten the funds. Some are also in the process. Some have received the approval. Some have approval spending, and I think there are some banks involved as well. So the banks, some of them, they've been indicated that they have received approval, but they have to go to their bank. The bank is yet to disburse. The banks also have some risk, so they are also doing some validation. So it's a whole process. But I know for sure that quite a number of enterprises have received the funds. Unfortunately, I'm not able to tell you the exact numbers. I'm sure MBSSI and the banks can give you the exact numbers, but some of the members have confirmed to us. Of course, there are some who are still complaining that they have not received their money, but I think that as long as some have received, it means that there's a possibility of, all applicants who have been approved eventually receiving. So we are in a hurry though, but we can also have a bit of patience to accommodate that.
Sir Chuma Kwabwa is Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries. Now, some banks say they are yet to firmly decide on whether to fully implement the work-from-home program even after COVID-19. Now, some financial institutions have been forced to let the majority of their staff work from home to help control the spread of the coronavirus. However, some have also raised concerns about how this is impacting on their operations badly. But what is the situation for Standard Chartered Bank and whether they are firmly going to implement this from their work and the work-from-home policy? Let's hear from the Managing Director of Standard Chartered Bank Ghana, Masonete, who have been responding to a question posed by Joy Business at the UK Ghana Chamber of Commerce webinar.
We recently conducted a survey, for our employees and asked them about, the work from home arrangements. And it's interesting, a majority still want to continue, not every day, because I guess they feel that, the social aspect of meeting colleagues is also important, but maybe 2-3 days a week. And because of obviously the efficiency of cutting commute time and travel time makes us a lot more efficient and productive. So a good balance, I would say. With the ideal. I think that we've talked a lot about investing in technology and the pace at which technology has developed. We can't run away from it. So I think the key I keep repeating would be reskilling and retraining.
Masanete is the Managing Director of Standard Chartered Bank Ghana. Now, the National Entrepreneurship and Innovative Program is working with the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs to put together an act that would help support entrepreneurship in the country. The Ghana Startup Act being championed by these two non-governmental organizations would aid the development of small businesses in the country. Franklin Usukari is the Director of the National Entrepreneurial and Innovative Program.
The focus of this Ghana Startup Act is to look at how we can have a legal framework that specifically provides certain incentives and interventions and regulatory environment for small businesses to be able to thrive in the country. Currently, when the government says somebody is a startup, legally it is not defined. So we need to define it and be able to create that legal framework. Sometimes when we box all businesses up, small or big, and they are going for even tax issues, we are not able to give them the right framework to operate in. So it makes small businesses operations in the country quite difficult. So we realize that there's a need for us to have an act that regulates the small business environment that we have in the country.
And that's the director of the National Entrepreneurship Innovative Program, Franklin Owusu Kakari. And that's all for Business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. Let's do some sports now. Hans is here with the latest. Hello, Hans.
Hello, Evans. You enjoyed Manchester United last night?
Oh, yes. I've recorded the game. I'm going back to watch the full game tonight because I
played against the Colts team, right?
Well, we played against the semi-finalist of the Champions League last season.
Plus the team topping the Bundesliga right now, beating Bayern Munich. You see, this is another Arsenal supporter who has no idea what football is. Small club mentality. Let's go. Let's see what the latest is.
George, President of the Ghana Football Association, Keto Kroku, has commended the multimedia group for a role in promoting the local game. He was speaking during a working visit to the media giant.
When it is that multimedia decides to support a product, you see the multiplier effect is there immediately. The attention that you gave to the GPL and other products of the FA last season is there for everybody to see. When you decided to really push the local agenda, it impacted massively on our aborted season. It was so clear for everybody to see, and we appreciate this. We thank you so much. Multimedia has been a blessing to the football industry, and you continue to be a blessing because you go out for the best talents. You see the talents here who are creative and who also want to show. We would continue to ask for your support, in fact, undiluted support.
The president of the Ghana Football Association, Keto Kroku, and their games coming up in the UEFA Europa League. And guess who Arsenal are playing, Evans? Dundalk.
Goodness.
And Slavia Prague are playing against Bayer Leverkusen. What's that?
They are playing a Dudui team.
What's Dudui?
Dudui.
What's that? What
you don't know. I have no idea. I know it means Chayawa team.
That's your sport.
Hans, thank you very much. Still listening to Newsnight. It's on Joy here on your election headquarters. Well, a committee to look into possible restoration of Ghana lands compulsorily taken by the state will start work next year. Among others, the committee will determine the consequences of the restoration and make recommendations to government. The return of the lands has been a long battle between the Ghana state and successive governments. Addressing the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs as part of his tour of the region, President Akufo-Addo tasked the chieftaincy minister to begin the process to bring finality to the matter.
I urge you to speak out and join government's fight against the ills of our society. Corruption, social and economic injustice, crime, and the illegal mining menace, popularly referred to as galamsey. As chiefs, you have a responsibility, as was done in the days of our forefathers, to help preserve the sanctity of our lands, the purity of our water bodies, and the health of our environment. It is part of government's Agenda 111, which seeks to build district hospital in districts without hospitals in the course of the next 12 months. Government will construct district hospitals in the following districts without them in the Greater Accra region. They are Ablekuma Central, Ablekuma North, Ablekuma West, Accra Metropolitan, Adan West, Adenta, Ashiamai, Ayawaso Central, Ayawaso East, Ayawaso West, Ghana Central, Ghana South, Kole Klote, Krowo, Lankwantanang Medina, Ningo Pram, and Tema West. The hospitals will have 100-bed capacity, fully equipped with appropriate accommodation for medical personnel, that is doctors and staff. There are 847 projects being executed in the region, with 423 completed and the remaining 424 ongoing. Out of the 423 completed projects, 87 are in the educational sector, 17 in the health sector, 173 in the road sector, 74 in the water and sanitation sector, 25 in the industrial sector, and 10 market projects. Let me also indicate to you my commitment to establishing a committee, God willing, early next year, to take a comprehensive look at the issue to do with the compulsory acquisition of lands by government.
Well, spokesperson for the Dodo Chief, Nana Kwesi Ajiman, endorsed the second term bid of the president. I had the spokesperson for the Dodo Chief saying that he appreciates what the president had done for them. From the president's campaign of the Greater Accra, let's go to the former president's campaign here in the Greater Accra as well. John Mahama has today taken a swipe at Dr. Bawumia for questioning his credibility to deliver on the many promises he's been making to the Ghanaian people ahead of the elections. Addressing a mini rally at the Tema East constituency on day 3 of his Greater Accra tour, Mr. Mahama said Dr. Bawumia has no locus to speak about credibility given the performance of the MPP government.
Almost say credibility. Now, I'm afraid. Every time, one name credibility, and another who don't name credibility. We'll see. We are Juma Bank of Ghana, only says we can go home. Now we can develop this economy without borrowing. And yes, I know kind. And then, yes, sir, for Hippic. As we said, Omar Koji Bosia Mafe, say a chest Abusia Maganda for you now. Obia they can 9,000 Ghana cedis. That's any by almost a credibility. Nada the Oya campaign. Also about Benua. Obesi 350 new secondary school touch. Video no of we have him on video. And then the Minister of Education, say they never made any such promise.
And that is the former president talking about questioning the current government's credibility on a host of issues, including the borrowing, and claiming that every Ghanaian currently owes 9,000 Ghana cedis. Now, the Ministry of Health has taken delivery of PCR testing kits, laboratory equipment, consumable reagents, and personal protective equipment donated by leading provider of floating solution in the upstream petroleum industry, MODEC and partners. This, according to MODEC, cost $606,000 and will be distributed to 4 national COVID-19 testing centers. Speaking at the handing over of the items, Managing Director of MODEC Production Services Ghana Limited, Theophilus Eshreng, said the donation was necessary. Effective testing and tracing systems has become necessary, especially after the lifting of restrictions.
To sustain the gains that have been achieved, a timely and effective test and trace system is important to mitigate the transmission and the spread of the novel coronavirus. This has become increasingly imperative as the country eases restriction and returns to some levels of normalcy. I'm therefore proud that today we announce with our partners a provision of more than $600,000, approximately 3.5 million Ghana cedis, in assistance to 4 testing centers to provide adequate opportunities for testing and to fight COVID-19 across the country. These institutions are namely the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research in Accra, the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research in Tropical Medicine, the Takoradi Veterinary Laboratory, the TVL, which have been at the forefront of providing essential services to the COVID-19 fight, and also the National Public Health Reference Laboratory in Effienkwanta, which is being set up to expand testing services in the central and western regions.
Well, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, who is the Deputy Health Minister, was full of praise for the COVID-19 testing centers and the role they played in the fight against the pandemic.
Really, I think we've done well because our labs didn't turn their back on us. The policy of tracing, testing, and treating has been very key to Ghana's success story. And let me say that the last time I checked, we had a national active case count of about 514 cases. Well, our objective still is to do 0 active cases in the shortest possible time. And that will be possible with partnership like this, where we get the necessary items that are crucial in testing, tracing, and making sure that we keep a very safe environment. There are folks who assume that the pandemic is over in this country. People even sometimes ask me, Doctor, why are you people still wearing the mask? The virus is gone, but fighting an infectious agent is like fighting a bushfire. Until the last one is extinguished, really the situation can get worse again. So let's all take this opportunity to remind the public and ourselves that we are still in this war, and that it's only when the last soldier is cut out that we can take a breather.
Bernard Okoboy there, who is the Deputy Health Minister. And that's it for Newsnight tonight. Our top story is our NDC National Vice Chairman still the subject of criminal probe for allegedly supplying guns to an NDC constituency executive to intimidate MPP voters in the northern region. And MPP MP of Parliament for Fomena insists he remains a member of the majority side in Parliament despite being expelled from the MPP. That's it for Newsnight. My name is Evans Mensah. Of course, Lexus Bill is still here, looking all dapper and ready for the next 1 hour or so. Lexus, 1 hour or more?
Yes, 1 hour.
I hope we were going to do 2 hours, so I will not come with Battleground.
No, we need the Battleground, so please get ready for that. That's coming up
Of
soon.
course, Battleground is up next. We are in Infantiman. That's a very interesting place where the MP died recently. The wife is taking over and has made that particular constituency very juicy for analysis. Look forward to it, 8 to 9 p.m.